I think it's really important you talk about finessing, because I'm going to talk about the Gen Zers, and they have this idea. They are really the microwave society. Don't get me wrong. We have social media. We use that and all of that stuff, but we didn't grow up on social media. We grew up on home phones. We grew up on flip phones. We grew up on, oh shit, you got a PDA with the internet? Hold on.
Yeah.
Oh, the first iPhone? Your shit like that was a luxury. That was not part of life,
No.
And so there are certain people's human skills that we had to develop, and we also understood the importance of the process and doing shit that you didn't want to do to get where you want it to be.
Yes, you have to. I mean, you look at the fact that one of the biggest minorities that we have is the Latinos, the Hispanics. I mean, going back to what they would do, and this is true, like I've seen it happen before. So what would happen is they would take these low-paying jobs, $7.25, like $7.25 an hour, or like $5.50.
You being nice, because the ones who getting paid cash, they might get $5 or $2.50.
Well, not even that. They might even get $50 a day. But even then, they would take what it cost them to live off of, maybe $25 a week, right? $30 a week. They would send that rest back to their families in Mexico so they could come back across. They would do what needed to be done that nobody else wanted to do. And I think that a lot of people, if you would do what needs to be done, like if you would step up to the plate and actually own it, a lot of things would change. And I feel like if you become an advocate for change, right there is an empire in itself. I mean, you got to look at the fact of the way that you do your podcast. I never knew you did podcasts. I never knew in high school. I never imagined this guy. I thought this guy would go, play sports somewhere up north, or, go play NFL. Like, I never knew you would be a podcast ever in my life. Never. It's called evolve. It's called change. It's called doing what you needed to do to get yourself through.
And real quick, I'm going to shout out a Latino family that's really near and dear to my heart. And you talk about that, doing what you need to get where you want to be. And there's a family near and dear to my heart. I won't say their names, but if they hear the story, they know that I'm talking about them. And I told them this to their face, like, y'all really are the American dream. Like, you came over here with what you had, and you started your family, you grind, you hustled, you did some shit that you may not have wanted to do, but eventually you got to where you want to be, and living a really good life, raised beautiful kids. And sometimes us American-born Americans take for granted what it takes to be successful in this country, because we oftentimes think we're supposed to go to K through 12, then go to post-secondary, whatever that route is, and then we're supposed to get what we want. It's like, that's how it works for the people who are really good, or the people who are really connected. But in order for you to be more than what your parents were, you have to do a lot more than what they did to get there. You just can't follow the status quo. It's like, hey, if I want podcasting is my side hustle. It's not my day job. I still have to do a day job every day, right?
Yeah, but, like a 9 to 5, of course.
Right. But in order for me to turn my side hustle into my day job, I have to sacrifice sleep. I have to sacrifice time with friends. I have to sacrifice money to do other stuff, because I'm paying for fucking Facebook to promote my stuff, or YouTube to promote my stuff, or Instagram to promote my stuff. So hopefully the right person hears it. You know what I mean? And so often we take our opportunities for granted.
Yes, and that's correct.
And that's not life. But
let me speak on that.
Okay, go ahead.
When you talk about opportunities taken for granted, that's the society that we grew up in. We grew up in the society that everything was handed to us. We grew up in the society that we came from a household that it's XYZ, you follow it this way and it gets you return in that way. And not a lot of, and I look at the fact that we had cliques in high school. I mean, you had the emos, you had the goths, you had the gays, you had the frats. I mean, you had everybody, okay? But we didn't. I know myself for a fact. I didn't take a look at anybody else's social circle the way that I looked at my social circle, because I always surrounded myself with upperclassmen. Like I've always surrounded myself with other people. That's because I didn't want to live a 9 to 5 job, going home and, you know, drinking 1 or 2 brewskis on the couch and not letting my money work for itself. No, you got to do that. You got to invest time in yourself. If you invest time in yourself, your benefit will reap itself. So the seeds that you sow now are what you're going to reap back at the same time. So it might not come today, it might not come tomorrow, but it's definitely going to come when it's least expected.
And that's such an important thing. And again, one of the reasons why I want to get involved in education is because I don't want to teach as much of the classroom curriculum shit that I have to do because the state tells me to. Like, yeah, we're going to get that. You're going to learn what you need to learn so you pass these tests and you can be good in life. But as far as investing in the students, giving them perspective, like I look back on my favorite teacher from high school, and it took me a while to accept that this was my favorite teacher, Miss Suber, who ran the marketing program, right? Shout out to Jamila. Love you, Jamila.
Yes.
She could, for me, for a while, she couldn't be my favorite teacher just because she taught me marketing and she didn't teach me some like academic subject, right? But the fact that she is a mentor to me to this day, her husband Tony is a mentor to me to this day, that when I come home and I can go have a conversation with them about where I'm at in life today, and then I can also talk to their kids, their teenage daughter. Shout out to Jancy, that's the homie. And like speak to her as a 29-year-old to a 16, 17-year-old the same way that her parents did for me at that same age, where it's like I can speak to you in the language that you talk without judgment, and I can't hold you accountable for anything. We can just walk,
exactly.
Which was the same relationship I developed with them. And that we need more teachers like that, because guess what? She wasn't just a career teacher. She worked in industry before she taught. She left teaching and now she's working in industry again. It's like, hey, life is not just this 9 to 5 for 25, 30 years and you get your gold clock and your 401k and you go home.
No.
It's
that's the whole society.
But that's what was taught to us. That's who we learned from. Yeah. And that's why part of me eventually wants to move back, because I've been gone for 10 years now. I left in 2010, moved to Atlanta, didn't look back, left Atlanta, been to some other places since then. And more people with that lifestyle need to impart wisdom into our kids.